The US economy added far fewer jobs than expected in December as the nation grapples with a massive surge in COVID-19 cases, many linked to the highly transmissible Omicron variant. Only 199,000 new jobs were reported last month, much lower than analyst estimates of as many as 433,000 according to Bloomberg. The unemployment rate, though, fell to 3.9% compared to an expected 4.1%. Job creation was highest in leisure and hospitality, a key recovery sector, which added 53,000. Professional and businesses services contributed 43,000, while manufacturing added 26,000. Meanwhile, continuing jobless claims have risen slightly to 1.75 million as more people claimed for unemployment benefits in the final week of the year. Let's get more on this now with Professor Joann Weiner, who's a Professor of Applied Economics at George Washington University. She joins us now from Washington. Good to have you back with us, Professor. It's interesting looking at the estimates ahead of the release of these reports. Recently, they've been very much, out of whack and out of touch of what the reality actually is. In this case, the jobs numbers that came through for December were actually half what many analysts were predicting. Why is that, do you think?
These latest employment figures and jobs reports are really quite startling when one looks back at the nearly 2 years ago and how COVID has rampaged through the workforce. The estimates are way off. We're expecting 400 some thousand new jobs, and there's less than half that. We were averaging some 500,000 a month, and now it's down to a couple 100,000. There are a lot of revisions that happen to these data, and you hear that perhaps the surveys aren't being replied to as quickly as they should be. There's a big mixed message there, and I would be quite concerned at the Biden administration going into an election year at these volatile numbers. They grab the headlines, and at least for the moment, they're not very good.
Yes, on the flip side, to the latest non-farm payroll report, it did show that in 2021, the US created a record number of jobs for that entire year. So there is a glimmer of hope there, isn't it? Do you believe that the jobs market will steadily recover from here on in?
Oh yeah, it'd be hard not to be optimistic about the long-term prospects for the job market, but at least in the short term, with the highly contagious Omicron variant coming in and affecting the workforce, people still not getting back to the offices, schools closing in some cases, or going back to remote for a short period of time. All of that is going to prevent people from really working as much as they would probably like to. On the other side, a lot of the support has ended, and so people are going to have to go out and get a job to support themselves. But I think during the past year or so, people have found a way to live on less than they used to before. On the good side, the wages have been going up, and so to the extent people are quitting their jobs, they're doing so to take a job that gives them higher pay, and so that's good news for workers.
What about the rather thorny issue of inflation? The US isn't alone in dealing with a rise or a surge, rather, in consumer prices. How much longer do you think inflation will stick around for?
Well, we could go back to blaming it all on the supply chain problems. Every time we think that the supply chain problem is solved, another issue pops up. When you can't get the goods that are available become more expensive, and the Fed is going to have to watch very carefully to see that balancing the twin goals of low, high employment and low inflation. And I would expect that. Next month's data will give a better picture of what really is happening with the Omicron variant. But personally, I would worry less about inflation at this point, and let wages grow so that people can, get back to work at a higher wage.
Okay, Professor Joann Weiner, always a pleasure. Thank you for your analysis.